Hello and welcome everyone to the 2025 REL Distinguished Lecture Series hosted by Department of Religious Study at the University of West. I'm Nirargaḍamedha, Chair and Associate Professor in the department, and it's my great pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker today, Professor Dr. Zhen Liu. So Dr. Liu was born in Shanghai and he studied Indology at the Institute of Indology and Tibetology at the University of Munich, Germany from 2001 to 2008. He was a faculty at Fudan University in Shanghai from 2009 to 2024. Since 2024, he has been teaching at Dali University in Yunnan Province, China. Dr. Liu has also held visiting scholar position at prestigious institutions such as Harvard Yenching Institute and Alexander von Humboldt Foundation and the Polish National Agency for Academic Exchange. His research area includes Sanskrit manuscript and comparative study of Indian, Tibetan, Chinese Buddhist texts, and Indo-Tibetan studies, Vedic literature, and his major publications are a selected annotated Chinese translation of Rig Veda, a translated and annotated version of the Rig Veda in Chinese, and second, Buddhist hymns, a new collection, a collection of Buddhist hymns co-edited by Johannes Schneider, and third book is a Dharma Dhatu Stava, a critical edition of Sanskrit text with Tibetan and Chinese translation, and fourth book is Meditation and Asceticism, a new Sanskrit source of the Buddha's legend. The subject of today's lecture is Sarvamedha, Pañcavārṣika, and Nirargaḍamedha, the ritual transmission from India to China. Without further delay, please join me in welcoming Dr. Zhen Liu.
This is my water. Thank you. Yeah, good afternoon, venerable and colleagues. Yeah, this is my first time to give a lecture here, and this topic I have a very super long version, and if I discuss this topic in detail, I think it takes 2 hours, and I have still 2 short versions. This is the longer one, between the 2 versions. I hope you are fond of this topic or these three terms: Sarvamedha, Pañcavārṣika, and Nirargaḍamedha. Yeah. And my talk will divide into several parts. First one is introduction, and second one is about Nirargaḍa, and the third one is Nirargaḍamedha and Pañcavārṣika, and the fourth one is Sri Harshadeva's Wuzhe Hui, and the conclusion. I think a lot of you know these pictures. The left one is Xuanzang, and the lower right one is Sri Harshadeva, 戒日王 in Chinese, or in Xuanzang's 大唐西域记. And Xuanzang traveled to India in search of the Dharma. When King Sri Harshadeva organized Wuzhe assembly for the purpose of debate, no one was able to challenge him. He thus achieved victory without context. This is an episode that became a celebrated moment in the history of Chinese Buddhism. But there was a trick, Xuanzang just make a defense, and if he attack or offenses, he was offensive, then he would be lost, because if somebody do offense, there would be some weakness in the logical system. But he just did a defense, so nobody could defeat him. Well, this is not our point. Our point is this assembly. What is exactly Wu Zhe? Since the mid-19th century, many scholars have sought to interpret this term. Among their attempts, Samuel Beer's proposal that Wu Zhe is equivalent to Pañcavārṣika Parishad, the 5-year assembly, gained the widest acceptance. Yeah, this is the annotation in his book, Samuel Beer's Xi Yu Ji. And after him, a lot of Western scholars followed him, and also Japanese scholars. Then, please pay attention to this name. Shinjo Mizutani. He did a Japanese translation of Xi Yu Ji. And after him, the famous Chinese Indologist, Ji Jianling, he also did a Chinese annotation of Xi Yu Ji. But at this point, what is Wu Zhe or Wu Zhe assembly? Ji Jianling followed this Japanese scholar. The result is every Chinese scholar, I think except me, follows Ji Jianling until now, until present. So Mark Steg, however, was one of the first to identify the Sanskrit equivalent of Wu Zhe as Nirargaḍa. This is first time appears this Sanskrit name Nirargaḍa. More recently, Hideki Teshima was carried out a systematic study of the origin of Wu Zhe assembly, and I just show you the picture. What is the sense to do such kind of research? Mark Steg, Teshima, and me just find out that these things are different. Just like this example, jiaozi does not equal to ravioli, does not equal to pierogi. This is an Italy one. This is a Polish one. This we know. Chinese. Chinese dumpling. And my research is focused on finding the historical background of the difference between these terms, or just to say why and how. So, the first part, Nirargaḍa. What is Nirargaḍa? Before this, we have to know what is Argaḍa. Argaḍa is a very ancient Sanskrit word. It means door latch. And Nirargaḍa is just the opposite to this word. Means without door latch, unbarried, unobstructed, open. And the first one, Nirargaḍa, first appears in Brahmanic literature, like Brahmanas, and later in Pali Suttas, especially in Vinaya. And its antonym, Nirargaḍa. Yeah, you just asked me what is prefix. This is prefix. This is a to deny the meaning, a negation, and this term Nirargaḍa occurs only metaphorically. A German scholar, Hardy Falk, has shown that Nirargaḍa in Buddhist literature, specifically in the Sutta Nipata, in its Brahmanādhamika Sutta, is identified with the Brahmanical sacrifice Sarvamedha in Buddhaghosa's commentary. Yeah, in the 5th century AC, there was a very distinguished scholar, Buddhist scholar, named Buddhaghosa. He commentated a lot of Buddhist sutras. And it means his commentary is very authentic. And this verse is in this way. Tathocha raja sanyato brahmanehi rate sabo asamedam purisamedam samapasam vachapeyam nirgaram ete yage yajitvana brahmana atta tanam. And the meaning, and then the king, the lord of warriors, induced by the Brahmans, having performed this sacrifice, the Ashvamedha, I just read the Sanskrit, the the Purushamedha, the Shamyaparsamedha, the Vajapeya, and the Nirargaḍa gave words to the Brahmans. And this is the commentary by Buddhaghosa. And we can see, according to his opinion, Nirargaḍa is equal to Sarvamedha. Yeah, if you are a little bit familiar with Brahmanical sacrifice, yeah, there are 3 sacrifices very important: Ashvamedha, Purushamedha, and Sarvamedha. And also the other 2 sacrifices, all 5 of these were royal sacrifices. Because of historical limitation, Buddhaghosa's commentary does not fully reflect their association with kingship. A better parallel is found in the Mahabharata, which predates Buddhaghosa and its contemporaneous contemporaneous with the early Buddhist sutta collection. I just gave you a timeline. According to the Shatapatha Brahmana, Teshima emphasizes the differentiation of royal sacrifices through the distribution of dakshina, namely honoraria. For example, the horse sacrifice, Ashvamedha, excludes Brahmin property, land, and servitude. The human sacrifice, Purushamedha, excludes Brahmin property and land. And the last one, the all sacrifice, excludes only Brahmin property. And maybe I have to explain a little bit these three sacrifices. According to the name, Ashvamedha, there is Ashva is horse, and at the very beginning, during this sacrifice, a perfect horse was selected, and this horse will wander within 1 year, and after 1 year, it will be killed during sacrifice. This is Ashvamedha. And Purushamedha, Purusha is human being, is mankind. And maybe at the very, very beginning, a human being would also be killed. But according to the explanation in Shatapatha Brahmana, this Purusha is just people who lived in this property, lived in a land. This is Purushamedha. And these people just contribute their servitude. And Sarvamedha Sarva is all. It means this sacrifice includes everything. The earliest Shatapatha Brahmana did not strongly connect Sarvamedha with kingship, whereas the Vajapaya and the Rajasuya did. Early Buddhist suttas and the Mahabharata expounded the royal dimension of sacrifice, but Buddhaghosa's commentary is silent on this point. In the Shrauta Sutras, the royal sacrifices were the Soma sacrifice, the Ashvamedha, and the Rajasuya, but not the Nirargaḍa or Sarvamedha. Although the Shatapatha Brahmana had already systematized the procedures of sacrifice at an early stage, the main features of Vedic ritual remained stable in subsequent centuries. These include worship of deities. For example, in Shatapatha Brahmana, they worship in Sarvamedha, Agni, Indra, Surya, and all the deities. The second feature is animal sacrifice, victim. However, substitution and redemption were also permitted. It means, theoretically, you have to kill an animal or several animals, but in the practice, you can use substitution or redemption to save them their life. And third one is prayer for blessings and expiation of sin. And the fifth is remuneration and donations. And the remuneration and donation can also be in such a way, namely, priests could receive additional compensation if the sacrificer choose to redeem the sacrificial victims. It means if there is an animal to be killed, but the sacrificer will buy its life, then he buys its life and give money to the Brahmans. Then the Brahman get an extra honorarium. The last one is reverence for Brahmins. So the next part is about China. Why I talk about the Brahmanical tradition about animal sacrifice? The reason is here. Wu Zhe for the term Nirargaḍa or Nirargaḍamedha appears in Chinese literature, not in translated sutras, but in indigenous texts. It's very strange. It could be possible that a lost translated sutta contained this rendering. One example is Shen You's biography in the Gaosheng Zhuan, Ming Lü, hagiography of Vinaya masters. And it is say, 永明中赤鹿无并见无遮大吉舍身在等. And the English translation is here. In the middle of Yongming era, he was summoned to Wu and established the Wuzhe assembly, together with fasting rituals of self-donation. And the second example is found in the book of Liang Wudi, Annals of Emperor Wu. This record shows that Emperor Wu's assembly parodied 4 of the 6 key features of Brahmanical sacrifice. You can see 大中元年秋9月辛乙，朱雀行华表哉，魁乙性驾幸同泰寺，设四部无遮，大罪应舍身，公卿以下，以前1万亿奉赎。And the English translation is here. I will not read it, but very important is here. I found at least 4 features of Liang Wudi's Wuzhe assembly are identical with that of in Shatapada Brahmana. The first one is prayer for blessing. This is evidently. And the second one is expiation of sin, because a fire broke out at the Vermilion Bridge and the Huabiao Pillar. This is a sign of something inauspicious. And the third one is remuneration and donation. It is also very clear. And Liang Wudi gifted himself to the Buddhist temple, and his ministers redeemed him from the temple. And the fourth one is reverence for Brahmins. In this case, here is Buddhist monks. Uniquely, Emperor Wu also offered himself, as I said, as a ransom sacrifice. So the payment was made on his behalf by his ministers. it is unlikely that Emperor Wu, a devout Buddhist, directly imitated Brahmanical sacrifice. I think he didn't hear about the tradition, Indian tradition of Brahmins. Religious, geographical, and chronological differences make this improbable. Instead, the medium through which Nirargaḍa or Sarvamedha evolved into Wuzhe assembly was the Ashoka legend. According to 费长房师历代三宝记 record of the three treasures of the ages, a monk from Funan, today's Cambodia, his name is Mandala, brought the Ashoka Sutra to China, and Emperor Wu commissioned another Cambodian monk, Pañcavārṣika, to translate it. Because after Mandala brought the sutra to China, he passed away, and Emperor Wu had to find another guy to translate it. But you can see, here, 出番日的公字比寿, he paid a very high respect to this activity or to this sutra. And during the history of Chinese Buddhism, we have 4 translations. The last one is lost. Both the last 2 were done in Liang Dynasty under the organization of Liang Wudi. I think this one is translated by Pañcavārṣika. And the so-called Sanskrit origin we can find in the Ashoka Avadana, in the Divya Avadana. And I will not read out the whole paragraph, just read out some important phrases. Here, Pañcavārṣika kritam, tatracha chatvari shatasahasrani datati. And here, kosham stapayitva mahaprithivin antaspura amantiyaganam atmanam kunanam cha aryasangi niryata itva chatvari shatasahasrani datva niskritavan. What's the meaning? The meaning is here. Then here's Ashoka. The king Ashoka. He held a great quinquennial festival and spent 400,000 on the monks. Also, he had offered to the Arya Sangha the whole earth, but except for the state treasury, as well as his harem, his state officials, himself, and his son Kunala, and had redeemed them all with 400,000 pieces of gold. And here is the Liang translation of this paragraph. We can see the very difference is here, 四部大会. I will explain. This is for the festival. In this Liang translation, it is misinterpreted. The 400,000 almsgiving in the 5-year assembly as a fourfold assembly, understood as almsgiving to the fourfold community of monks and nuns. you can see obviously the Pañcavārṣika, the quinquennial festival, disappeared in the Liang translation, and instead is a new term, 四部大会, fourfold festival. I think, yeah, they made it intentionally. Yes, Emperor Wu adopted this designation, calling his ritual the fourfold Wu Zhe assembly. I mean, in the practice, he invented a new name, fourfold Wu Zhe assembly. By imitation Ashoka's legendary assembly, Emperor Wu omitted in practice the setting of land to the Sangha, but retained the gesture of offering his own body and redeeming it. In other contexts, the Sanskrit Pañcavārṣika was rendered to Chinese as 5-year assembly. Its origin may lie in Ashoka's edict of dispatching officials on a tour once every 5 years. Yeah, according to his edict, Ashoka sent his officers once every 5 years. And the phrase is Pañcasu Pañcasu Vasesu Anusayanam. So, I will introduce another Buddhist pilgrim from China, earlier than Xuanzang. His name is Fa Xian. And Fa Xian's travel account provides the earliest Chinese record of such an assembly in Central Asia, I mean Pañcavārṣika. Here, I just show the Chinese script and read the English translation. The king of this empire had just held the Pañcavārṣika assembly, which means Great 5-year assembly in Chinese. On the occasion of this assembly, he invites Shramanas from all directions. The king and the ministers make offering in accordance with the law. This takes place usually in spring and lasts even for 7 days. The king has his minister ride his horse. It's very strange. And after that, they have distributed everything to the monks. Okay, here is the point. You can see the second line is a reading by Max Steger and so on, the most scholars. They made a full stop here, a full stop, 还从僧俗其地. They redeem it with money from the monks, full stop, this land, the next paragraph. But here is my reading, without full stop. They redeem this land with money from the monks. Why it records the Brahmanical tradition in the Brahmanas. So I can just summarize this. Fa Xian's description of the 5-year assembly shows traces of both the Brahmanical Sarvamedha and the Ashoka-inspired Pañcavārṣika. Then a question. Instead of Pañcavārṣika, why then did Emperor Wu of Liang prefer the name Wuzhe Assembly, which only appears in Chinese translations from the Sui dynasty onward? Yeah, it means before the Sui dynasty, there was no rendering in Chinese Wuzhe in the Buddhist text. But why was Wu Di Liang able to choose this name? Possible explanations include the first one, as I have already mentioned, it may have derived from a lost translation. And second, it may also have been transmitted orally by monks from the Indian cultural sphere. In any case, the story of the Wuzhe Assembly captured the imagination of Chinese elite and was quickly imitated, exerting a profound social impact. Consequently, although Pañcavārṣika was connected with the Ashoka legend, it reached China later, and in that environment and context could no longer supplant the Wuzhe Assembly. In China, Pañcavārṣika was only used in a restricted circumstance, namely the almsgiving ceremony in Buddhist monasteries. And the third part, Nirargaḍamedha's Wuzhe Assembly. Xuanzang was the first Chinese pilgrim to witness the Wuzhe Assembly in India itself after centuries of development. We just discussed the Wuzhe Assembly in China, but Xuanzang, he is the first one who personally experienced the Wuzhe Assembly in India. According to his 西域记 and his biography by Hui Li and Yan Cong, Xuanzang encountered 9 royal assemblies. In Central Asia, these were called 5-year assemblies, Pañcavārṣika. In India, Wuzhe assemblies. And the grandest was Nirargaḍamedha's, lasting 75 days. Its structure parallels the Sarvamedha rituals described in the Shatapada Brahmana. Nirargaḍamedha, described as a pan-Hindu ruler. We had an idea that Nirargaḍamedha, 戒日王, was a Buddhist, but it is not true. He is a pan-Hindu ruler. It means he just paid respect to all the religions. His family tradition is diverse worship. His ancestors venerated Surya. His elder brother was a Buddhist, and he himself honored mainly Maheshwara. Accordingly, the first 3 days of Wuzhe Assembly were devoted to Buddha, Surya, and Ishvara, paralleling the initial stages of Sarvamedha. You can see in Sarvamedha, the first 3 days is Agni, Indra, Surya. And in Nirargaḍamedha's Wuzhe Assembly is Buddha, Surya, Ishvara. And after that, in Sarvamedha of Brahmanical tradition is all the deities. Then, on the fourth day, is again the monks, the Buddhist monks in Sri Harshadeva's Wuzhe assembly. And the following 21 days, this is very important, the following in Sri Harshadeva's Wuzhe assembly. The following 21 days is donation to Brahmins and equaled the horse sacrifice, Sarvamedha, which by this period no longer involved actual killing. Unlike Brahmanical sacrifice, the Wuzhe assembly was more inclusive, extending participation to all social groups. It emphasized generosity and devotion rather than complex rituals or specialized liturgy. In this sense, it reflects the secularization of ritual from the Brahmanical Nirargaḍamedha or Sarvamedha to Xuanzang's Wuzhe assembly. I just introduced this Jürgen Habermas's religion in public space. And after Xuanzang, we observe in Gandhara, in northwest India, a noble assembly was held 12th annually. The remark, "This king is unlike the North Turks," may allude to differences between Indian-style Wuzhe assembly and the Turkic quinquennial gatherings. During the Tang Dynasty, 4 emperors convened a total of 5 Wuzhe assemblies in Chang'an, so without fixed regularity. It means not every 5 years, once every 5 years, a Wuzhe assembly. There's no regularity. Over time, the Wuzhe assembly devolved into a monastic level almsgiving ritual, open to all organizers. Okay, last part, conclusion. The Sarvamedha Wuzhe assembly and Pañcavārṣika underwent 3 main stages of transformation. In the Shatapatha Brahmana, Sarvamedha had limited royal associations. In the Mahabharata and early Buddhist suttas, its royal significance grew. Later, in Buddhaghosa's commentary and the Shrauta Sutras, it was again confined to priest-king relations. Throughout, Sarvamedha and Nirargaḍamedha were treated as synonyms. Second, as Sarvamedha was equate with Nirargaḍamedha, it was further secularized into the Wuzhe assembly of Indian kings. Through Sino-Indian exchange, this practice, colored by Ashoka legends, entered China, where Emperor Wu of Liang reinterpreted it as a Buddhist puja with imperial authority. Xuanzang later witnessed magnificent versions of the ritual in India, notably Harshadeva's 75-day assembly. And third, the monastic Pañcavārṣika almsgiving was reinforced by Ashoka's 5-year tours and in turn legitimized later quinquennial assemblies in Central Asia and China. Monks such as Faxian and Xuanzang experienced both forms, contributing to their eventual convergence in terminology. In practice, however, the Wuzhe assembly was gradually reduced to a routine almsgiving ceremony. eventually assimilated to the Chinese Water and Land Dharma Assembly, 水陆法会. And here, please look at this line is my opinion with textual evidence, and this line with dot is just my hypothesis without any textual evidence. So in the end, we have to say 饺子 is equal to ravioli and equal to pierogi. And I wonder, does my research make sense or not? Thank you very much.
So we can start some questions.
Yeah, question.
Any questions?
Professor Liu, thank you so much for a very interesting presentation. I do have a question regarding to one of the slides that you presented before.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking about some of the scripture will transfer from the Funan dynasty, which is Cambodia now, to the Lian dynasty. My question is, so we have to assume that those scripture go to the Funan by the sea land, not from the land.
I think so.
And also, how do we take into consideration the scripture from Zhen? Because I think he go by the Silk Road, right? Just land only. Now we have something from the Funan dynasty go bring up into the Lian. So how do we correlate between those two sources of scripture?
Yeah, I think the Liang but I'm not a Chinese historian. Yeah, I just say without plenty of textual evidence. Yeah, Liang dynasty is a South dynasty. Yeah, it means this dynasty ran just southeast China, and I think it was difficult to get Indian manuscript from northwest China, or from Xinjiang. It was difficult for a South dynasty. It was convenient to get scriptures from the South Road, namely from Southeast Asia direct to Southeast China. I don't know. Maybe you can ask. My colleagues who are sitting here, they are expert.
Just want to follow up on another question. We're talking about misrepresentation about the translation. So that's why it comes from the 400,000 alms giving in 5 years, becomes the fourfold. How can it make that much mistake in terms of translation? That part I don't understand, because that's obviously too much different.
Yes. According to my opinion, there had been already a 无遮会 or 无遮大会 in Liang dynasty. This term is fixed, and also it was very popular, and it was impossible to replace this extant name 无遮会 with Pañcavārṣika. So, but Liang Wudi, yeah, himself in his life, he liked to imitate Ashoka King Ashoka. But for the legend of Ashoka, this term, Pañcavārṣika, is a current term. It is very important for Ashoka. But it is very difficult to replace Wu Zhehui with Pañcavārṣika. So, therefore, they intentionally made this mistake. Instead of to translate Pañcavārṣika as 5 年会 or 5-year assembly, they invented a new name, 四部大会. Just neutralize this term.
Do you mean it's a kind of signification in China, Buddhism in China or Chinese Buddhism? The intentional mistranslation of
Pañcavārṣika, yes.
So the China in the Liang Dynasty, those translators intentionally did that, or by negligence they did that.
I think, intentionally did that, yes.
Another question is that Xuanzang and Yi Jing observed many, in Buddhist temples, in India, they both observed that Theravada monks and Mahayana monks share the same temple. So I wonder if this could be such a thing probably was intentionally neglected in China, in Chinese translations. The Chinese usually made a striking contrast between Theravada tradition and Mahayana tradition. According to Wang Guangwei and Qi Xianling, the difference between Theravada and Mahayana was not very striking. Well, I would.
Maybe. I think maybe your question is a good idea. Do you mean that Pañcavārṣika represents Mahayana and Wu Zhehui represents Hinayana?
Or Hinayana or Theravada.
Oh, Theravada, sorry.
I think that, I don't know very much about that, and sometimes people say that in the process of sanctification, those monks deliberately mistranslated or misinterpret words.
Yes, it can be, and I said I had a very super long version of my topic. There is also a discussion about the translation and transliteration of this term Pañcavārṣika, and at that time, in the Liang Dynasty, they translated. If they had to translate this term Pañcavārṣika, they just transcribed it, not translated. 班遮月 as transcription.
So what's the English for that? 四部大会 means so it's not the Pañca, right?
No. Here, this is translated by me. Fourfold festival. Fourfold means the Buddhist community. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have two questions.
Uh-huh.
One is related to the Sarvamedha. So Purushamedha, does it link with the Purusha Sutta, like where the Purusha, the first who self-sacrifice, right?
Yeah, I think this is a later, a later interpretation, and Purushamedha is very old. And
It used to be like this really human sacrifice, like that.
yes, yeah, I think so.
Very, very early, maybe.
I think so. Yeah, just kill a man. Yes.
So before the Aryan people came to India, maybe they start that kind of ritual before they came to Central Asia.
Yes,
Like
yes.
exact date, like such kind of practice.
Yes, and in some in a Srauta Sutra, it was described which kind of human being will be selected. It's he must have a special job, and he has some defect in his body. Yeah, I think in at the very beginning, a human being must be killed.
Very interesting.
So that's a Hindu tradition, right?
Yes.
Yeah, not the Buddhist tradition.
No.
Purusha.
Yeah. In any way, not Buddhist tradition, but I think gradually, the Hindu tradition also gave up this Purushamedha in practice.
So Rigveda, that sutra, Purusha Sutra, say that you have the first
Yes.
human being who self-sacrifice.
Yes,
But it's not sacrificed by other, right?
1019. Yes.
But this one like somebody sacrificed human.
Yes, but different explanations. Somebody said, someone said, this is just a symbol. Purusha. Like Shankya's Purusha.
And the second question, so you mentioned about Swelubhavi. What I noticed that during the Hindu ritual, especially Vedic ritual, Agni Chayana, so they offer many things to Indra, God. Right? After that, after 12 days later, they burn everything. Like Swelubhavi also, they burn everything at the end. Right? They brought to send to the heaven. Very similar contract. I can see some similarity. Is there any? Have you noticed any similarity between Agni Chayana Yajna and Swelubhavi?
You mean?
You mentioned at the last.
Yes. This is one of the last slides.
And
Yes.
Hindu
Here.
Vedic ritual Agni Chayana. At the end of the ritual, they burn everything. Right? About the house they made it and they burn everything.
Yes, but in practice, I think the priestess, would like to gain something from the sacrifice, not to give everything to the god.
Very interesting. There's lots of things, significance. Another question?
No, I just I remember that Wang Wei mentioned that burning finger. Yijin probably mentioned in his book that the burning finger was not fashioned in India, but the Chinese monks, many Chinese monks burn their fingers or burn part of their body to show their devotions.
Yes.
Yeah, this Yijin said no, there was no such a custom in India.
Yeah, that's Lotus Sutra chapter. One chapter, medicine, Bodhisattva. He brought himself. After that.
Yes, I don't know what is the origin of burning finger or burning a part of his body. Yeah, maybe also, I think you have heard a story in the Jataka, and the bodhisattva burn his both arms to make a torch to to show the way for the merchants. And I don't know, what is the original, but in Brahmanical tradition, I think there's no such kind of sacrifice.
In the Bodhisattva precept book, we have one of the part say that if we burn our body, we can eradicate many karmas of our karma. So that's what the monk also burn the head. And some of them burn the body. It's made offering to the Buddha. That's to eradicate their karma.
Yes. But I haven't found a connection between Buddhist and Brahmanical tradition. Sorry. Yeah.
I have one more question. You mentioned about in the lecture the Ashoka Sutra. So I'm just wondering what kind of sutra is that? Is that the sutra was created during the Ashoka dynasty or something else? So could you explain that one?
Something else. Yeah, I think the most acceptable source is here, Divya Avadana. It contains a lot of avadanas, and within the Divya Avadana there is an Ashoka Avadana. This is so-called Ashoka Sutta. Therefore, in Chinese translations of Ashoka Avadana, they have two kinds of name: Ashoka Sutta or Ashoka biography, or so-called Ashoka legend.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One last question.
Thank you, Dr. Zhen Liu, for outstanding lecture.
You're
We
welcome.
learned a lot. There's lots of new information. Even I studied Rig Veda, and you brought lots of new things here, which is interesting. And I hope you can continue helping our students, and we can work together. So Professor Zhen Liu and I will be working together on the Sanskrit manuscript project. So he will be helping to do the cataloging in future, because of his has lots of experience.
Thank you.
And thank you. And also, I will give a round of applause. And also, thank you everybody for coming today. And next week, October 16, we have another guest speaker, Keshe Larampa Chering Dawa will be speaking. Will be giving a talk. The title of his lecture is "Integrating Buddhist Mind Training into Everyday Life: Insight from Lamrim and Losung." So please come to attend that very interesting talk. So once again, thank you everybody for attending, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.